but one slip of my finger, and I added the icy female CEO straight into the family group chat. My family all cheered for me, but I was sweating with nerves. I quickly opened CEO Shen Yuxi's profile. President Shen, I am so sorry. My family has been relentlessly pressuring me to get married. I meant to add my buddy today, to keep my family off my back, but my finger slipped, and I added you instead. I am sorry to bother you so late. I will be more careful next time. After my earnest explanation, I still worried Shen Yuxi would not believe me. So I sent screenshots of my chats with friends and proof of my mom nagging me about marriage. I screenshot everything and sent it to her. Then I added, President Shen, I am truly, terribly sorry, along with a frantic kodoing emoji. I never imagined I would add that she-devil to my family group chat. The only solution was to explain myself properly. Whether Shen Yuxi believed me was entirely up to her. Meanwhile, Shen Yuxi sat alone in her 13-1000-5-100- square foot office, reading my messages with interest and my family's greetings. Slowly, she typed a line into the chat. I gripped my phone, still on my chat screen with Shen Yuxi, when I heard my mom shriek. That girl actually spoke. My heart sank. Shen Yuxi had not replied to me. Instead, she spoke in the family chat. She must have explained everything in there. If mom found out I had used a fake girlfriend to fool her, it would be a complete disaster. Terrified, I sneaked a glance at mom. Just as I was about to come clean, I saw mom clutching her phone, her smile brighter than ever. I was confused, so I hurriedly opened our loving family group chat. One look, and my jaw nearly hit the back of my hand. Uncle Annie, thank you for the warm welcome. Let me introduce myself. My name is Shen Yuxi. You can call me Xiaoxi. Once work settles down, we will go register our marriage. I was completely dumbfounded. What on earth was Shen Yuxi up to? Yet I vaguely sensed she was not angry at all. She was actually helping me keep up the act and seemed to be having fun with it. She even brought up registering our marriage. That was completely insane. It was nothing a cold, ruthless she-devil would ever do. As I puzzled over it, my phone chimed twice. At last, I got a message from Shen Yuxi, but it was just 3 Chinese characters. Got it. I was utterly baffled. When I came to my senses and saw the family chat still flooding with messages, I felt even worse. What did Shen Yuxi mean by this? She was even chatting away with them. I sent Shen Yuxi another message. President Shen, since you understand, please leave the group chat. After all, Shen Yuxi was my boss. If mom kicked her out herself, I would be in serious trouble. Besides, she had done nothing wrong. I was the one who added her. 30 seconds later, I finally got Shen Yuxi's reply. 5 Chinese characters left me staring in shock. Why should I leave? I replied at once. President Shen, because this is my family group chat, not an employee work group. My meaning was obvious. This was my private space. President Shen had no right to intrude. But the next second, I was completely stunned. Shen Yuxi replied, now it is my territory too. Meanwhile, the family chat kept filling with messages. They were even discussing renting us a place, so we could live together. They had even decided who would cook, wash dishes, and mop. No surprises there. It would definitely be me. And Shen Yuxi went along with it all. Her replies sounded so natural, as if she really were my girlfriend. The rain outside grew heavier. Hearing it, mom, her face glowing with delight, immediately looked outside. It is really pouring. Xiaoxi is probably still working late. She smacked my arm as she spoke. Do not just sit there like an idiot. Hurry up and pick Xiaoxi up from work. Why would she need me to pick her up? And in this downpour, should I not be home enjoying a hot bowl of soup? I was about to say Shen Yuxi was already home when my phone vibrated twice again. I opened it and saw Shen Yuxi, come to my office. Her tone was cold and merciless. I was speechless. Looks like I could not avoid this trip tonight, but it was a good chance to talk to Shen Yuxi. I needed to ask what she was really thinking. She would not leave the group and had even given them a full introduction, though she had deliberately hidden plenty, revealing only the tip of the iceberg. It was enough to make my family thrilled. Was she not setting me up for disaster? With that thought, I sprang to my feet. Under my family's concerned gazes, I declared righteously, Mom, you are right. I will go take Xiaoxi home right now. With my head held high, I marched proudly toward the door. Are you out of your mind? You are not taking an umbrella? Mom grumbled as she stood up. Then, as if remembering something, she quickly added, take a serving of hot soup to Xiaoxi. Grandma added with a smile. There is still beef bone soup in the pot. It has been simmering for half a day and smells wonderful. My aunt chimed in. Exactly. I will dish some up now. My aunt was seated closest to the kitchen. She headed into the kitchen as soon as she said it. Within 2 minutes, she brought out the simmered bone soup. Then she handed me a large umbrella for 2. Still worried, She gave me one last warning. Do not ride your electric scooter. It is dangerous in the rain. It would not matter much if you fell. But picking up a girl is an important job. Do not delay the poor girl's work. I was seriously speechless. This was clearly not so simple. Everyone liked Shen Yuxi so much already. If I told them the truth, would they not throw me out of the family? There was no time to think. I hurried downstairs, hailed a cab, and sped toward the company. By the time I arrived, the rain was pouring even harder, just like the storm in my heart. 5 minutes later, I reached Shen Yuxi's office door. I knocked. A cold voice came from inside. It was unmistakably Shen Yuxi. Her voice was too distinctive to mistake. I pushed the door open and walked in. When she saw me enter, a faint smile appeared on Shen Yuxi's face. I had never seen that expression before. Her casual, gentle smile was breathtaking, like a ray of winter sunlight piercing the haze. I had to admit it. President Shen was truly beautiful. I politely greeted her, President Shen. But without looking up, Shen Yuxi said, "Wait, I will talk to you after I finish talking to them." Her tone was formal and icy. Nothing like the warm, kind woman in the group chat. The polite big sister everyone adored. Most infuriating of all, she really did continue chatting in my family group. By comparison, I was like an unwanted orphan. I had to put a stop to this. President Shen, you seem very interested in my family group chat. Shen Yuxi raised a brow. Her beautiful almond-shaped eyes sparkled. She saw the lunch container in my rain-soaked hand and asked curiously, "What is that?" I set the container on Shen Yuxi's desk and looked at her seriously. "My mom asked me to bring you this bone broth. She packed it in an insulated container so it would stay hot. She said it would warm you up, and she told me to take you home." Shen Yuxi froze for a moment. Then an unfamiliar feeling surged through her. Shen Yuxi came from a wealthy family. A housekeeper handled all the cooking. She had never tasted soup personally simmered by her own mother. Everyone knew. She had been born with a silver spoon in her mouth. She had everything going for her, as if she were God's favorite. But only Shen Yuxi knew how strict her parents had been. So she would succeed. She had grown up overseas, while her parents ran their business back home. Deprived of affection for so long, she had become tougher and tougher. But my family's warmth was like a feather, gently tickling her heart again and again. The feeling was comforting and strange. It made Shen Yuxi want to linger a little longer, but I cut her off in all seriousness. This is how much my mom cares about her future daughter-in-law. Now that the misunderstanding is cleared up, I will say it again. I hope you will leave my family group chat. Otherwise, my mom will really think you are her daughter-in-law. Thinking mom might get hurt, I could not bear it. So I decided, even if I lost my job today, I had to make Shen Yuxi leave the group. But just then, both Shen Yuxi's phone and mine began vibrating nonstop. It was a message from mom. "Xiaoxi, drink the soup. If it is not to your taste, tell auntie. It is too dangerous for a girl to go home so late. Have Lin Yuan leave work with you from now on. Have him be your driver and take you home." Shen Yuxi replied, "Uncle Annie, thank you for caring about me." She sent the message. Only then did she put her phone on the desk. She turned to me with a serious look. Our eyes met. I panicked a little. Honestly, it was my first time seeing Shen Yuxi up close. Her large eyes seemed to speak, framed by long, thick lashes. Her lips were beautifully shaped, and her red lipstick made them like a dew-kissed rose at dawn. A beauty like her, who would not be tempted? But I knew my place. I understood that people should be equals in status. She was the untouchable ice-cold woman CEO, while I was just a worker scraping by. After thinking briefly, Shen Yuxi spoke frankly. "Honestly, I quite like your family." At those words, I did not know how to respond, so I stayed silent. But Shen Yuxi's next words left me completely confused. "What is it about me that you are dissatisfied with?" When I still said nothing, Shen Yuxi decisively took a key from her drawer. "No need to rent a place. This is the key to a large villa in Tangxinyipan." Good lord, that house had to be worth tens of millions, and she was just giving it to me. But what did she mean by this? I grinned and teased, "President Shen, are you looking for a security guard?" But Shen Yuxi got straight to the point. She stated what she wanted. "How about we make a deal? I will keep playing the perfect future daughter-in-law in your family group chat. In return, you help me deal with my family. I just looked over your profile. You are 23 this year. I am already 28. The pressure to marry is worse for me than it is for you. What do you think?" Now I understood. This was not some sudden whim. She had planned it for a long time. To be fair, this older sister was truly gorgeous. More importantly, mom genuinely liked her. If I suddenly came clean to mom, she would not be able to take it. Maybe I should just agree. It was not like I would lose out. Seeing me remain silent, Shen Yuxi took another key from her pocket. "This is a villa beside Tianhe Lake. If you think it is too small, you can have a larger one." I instantly cursed myself. If I still refused, would she offer me a castle next? Forget it. President Shen, please take the keys back. I can afford to rent a place. But what you just proposed, we can give it a try. A flicker of surprise crossed Shen Yuxi's beautiful eyes. She stood and held out her right hand. A meaningful smile curved her crimson lips. "Pleasure doing business with you." So I had boarded the CEO's pirate ship. I had to admit, It was a pretty comfortable ship. President Shen, when do I get to infiltrate the enemy camp? I mean, join your family group chat and experience some parental affection. At the mention of her family, Shen Yuxi's expression shifted slightly. She sat back down, her legs crossed. You do not need to join a family group chat. You only need to handle my parents. So I only had to deal with 2 people. That sounded easy enough. I immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Then Shen Yuxi's cold voice sounded. My parents are not easy to deal with. Be prepared. I will explain everything tomorrow. As we spoke, the click of high heels echoed down the hall. It was Shen Yuxi's secretary, Qingqing. After 3 knocks, President Shen, may I come in? After receiving permission, Qingqing entered. I am sorry, President Shen. I was showering just now, so I did not hear your message. I kept you waiting. But before she could finish, the figure in front of her startled her. She quickly turned to look. How did you get in here? At this hour? Why is there a man in President Shen's office? Where is security? Who let him in? Shen Yuxi said. This is Yuan from the design department. I asked him to come. Hearing that, Qingqing finally relaxed. She looked Yuan over. So this was Yuan. During the old neighborhood redevelopment project a few days ago, President Shen had been furious more than once. The design they finally chose was Yuan's. It was a work of genius, something countless designers could never have conceived. Because of that design, President Shen had even praised him in a meeting. After all, earning even 1 word of praise from President Shen was nearly impossible. President Shen had also said in the office several times that they should keep an eye on him and develop his potential. That was why Qingqing remembered him especially well. She had simply never met him in person. Now that she saw him, he was not only gifted at design, but handsome too. He stood around 6 feet tall, with a clean-cut appearance. Even his clothes showed excellent taste. But at such a late hour, why had President Shen called him to her office? What could he want? Seeing Shen Yuxi's assistant arrive, Yuan did not plan to stay any longer. He walked to Shen Yuxi's desk. I will take this soup with me. As he spoke, he reached for it. The next second, his gaze met Shen Yuxi's beautiful eyes. Who said I was not drinking it? That left Qingqing completely bewildered. What exactly was their relationship? Shen Yuxi had not even had dinner, but she did not want to eat in front of Yuan. She lowered her head again and looked at the documents in her hands. Leave the soup. You may go. No way. I am not leaving without that lunchbox. After living with the Lin family all these years, I had learned how to cover my tracks, especially since this was Mom's first soup delivery for Shen Yuxi. If the lunchbox did not come back, would that not mean you had not eaten it? Or that I had not watched you eat it? Do you think Mom would overthink it? Shen Yuxi considered it. The lunchbox held more than just a bowl of soup. It carried an elder's heartfelt kindness. If she did not drink a single sip, that would be rather inappropriate, especially when she was posing as Yuan's girlfriend. She said nothing and silently pulled the lunchbox before her. Beside them, Qingqing's eyes went wide. She wondered if she was dreaming. Qingqing again questioned Yuan's identity. Who was he? Was he President Shen's long-lost brother? Why else would President Shen eat something he brought? Looking at the huge bone inside, Shen Yuxi's beautifully arched brows furrowed slightly. It was not discussed. The bone was simply too large. When the housekeeper cooked, the bones always came in small pieces. This palm-sized beef bone was Shen Yuxi's first time seeing one. She had no idea how to begin. Seeing her frown without moving, Qingqing nervously swallowed. If it is difficult, forget it. I can tell my mom that you already ate it. With that, Yuan stepped forward, ready to finish the entire container himself. A trace of wariness appeared in Shen Yuxi's eyes. Her tone allowed no refusal. Do not move. She took out the bone and tore off the meat. Then she placed it in her mouth, bite by bite, unhurriedly eating every last piece. Afterward, Shen Yuxi lifted the lunchbox and tasted the soup. Its rich beef flavor was delicious. She set down the lunchbox with satisfaction. Only then did she look at Yuan. Now, you can take it away. Yuan froze. Qingqing was even more stunned. President Shen had torn meat from a giant beef bone with her bare hands. Her feminine intuition told her that Yuan's relationship with President Shen was anything but ordinary. Please thank your mother for me. This is my first time having such delicious beef soup. Yuan paused. He never expected the IC CEO to say thank you. Still, jokes aside, Yuan clearly preferred this warmer, big sister side of her. But Yuan said nothing. He picked up the thermos and left the CEO's office. When he got home, Mom immediately interrogated him. Tell me, when did you and Xiaoxi get together? From Mom's expression, it was clear how pleased she was with this future daughter-in-law. She was pretty and sensible and came from such a good family. Girls like that were rare. Yesterday, you said you did not have a girlfriend. Then a gorgeous woman practically fell from the sky with a car and a home. And she is your boss. Only then did Yuan speak. Actually, it has been a while, but Xiaoxi is 28 this year, a little older than me, so I did not dare tell you. What is wrong with being older? What century are we living in? As long as two people truly love each other, That is enough. Let me tell you, Xiaoxi is a good girl. Treat her well. Lin Yuan laughed. How do you know she is a good girl? How could I not know? We were just chatting. I asked whether she had gotten home, and she said she was tidying up. So, you will be more comfortable when you move in. Then Mom opened the family group chat and let Lin Yuan see for himself. Shen Yuxi had even posted a picture of the bedroom. The bed was large and looked soft. It even had 2 large backrest pillows. It had to be comfortable to sleep in. Then came. The whole family was praising Shen Yuxi for being such a wonderful homemaker. It was quite a sight. Honestly, Lin Yuan still could not understand why the always aloof President Shen in his family group chat seemed like a completely different person. Most unbelievable of all, she even used emojis. That night, Lin Yuan barely slept. Clearly, he had insomnia. When he woke the next morning, it was already 8 o'clock. He sighed. Time to get up and keep supporting Shen Yuxi. She was his boss. Only if he worked hard could his boss live a better life. So saying he supported her was not exactly wrong, right? Lin Yuan got up and went to the living room. A plastic bag sat on the dining table. Inside were 4 large, steaming buns. He took one and stuffed it into his mouth. He ate as he put on his coat, then headed for his little electric scooter. He arrived at work right at 9. He poured himself a cup of warm water, took out his phone as he drank, and checked in on the family group chat. He had no idea until he looked. Then he was stunned. President Shen was truly dedicated. At 6, she had posted that she was going for a run. She had even added a new day. Let us all keep going. Below were replies from his aunt and his uncle's wife, as well as Mom. He had to admit, the older people got, the earlier they woke. All the elders in his family were early risers and very health conscious. Hearing that Shen Yuxi had gone running, they were ecstatic. Young people these days who stick to running, that was truly rare. Mom immediately declared that from now on, she hoped Shen Yuxi would take Lin Yuan along to exercise more and whip that lazy body of his into shape. Lin Yuan was speechless when he saw it. Could running really make someone immortal? When Mom saw Lin Yuan's message, she promptly replied, "Did you take the buns from the table?" "Yes. They were not salty this time, delicious." "Were those for you?" "I made those for Xiaoxi." "You ate all of them yourself." So that was why Mom had been so thoughtful, even preparing breakfast for him. They had actually been for Shen Yuxi. It was not that he did not want to save some, but if he did not eat buns on the way to work, he had nothing else to do. So he ate all 4. Meanwhile, Shen Yuxi sat in her office drinking coffee. While on her computer, she browsed advice on getting along with her future husband's family. Shen Yuxi was serious by nature. Whatever she chose to do, she had to do it perfectly. Even pretending to be a daughter-in-law was no exception. She was engrossed in her reading when her phone received a private message. "President Shen, please check the family group chat." Shen Yuxi immediately opened the group chat. She had no idea until she looked. Then she was startled. Shen Yuxi understood. It was because Lin Yuan had eaten the buns his mother made for her, and his mother was angry. She did not know whether to laugh or cry. Yet she also felt a faint, indescribable warmth. "Please do not be angry, Annie. I have been trying to lose weight lately. Buns make it easy to gain weight." I told Lin Yuan to eat them. Sure enough, the moment the future daughter-in-law spoke, Mom's focus shifted perfectly from Lin Yuan to Shen Yuxi. "Xiaoxi, did that brat make you say that? Just tell me. Annie will stand up for you. You just look so thin. So, I wanted to make you something nourishing. Work is not easy. How can you not eat something good? What do you like to eat? I will make it for you tomorrow and have Lin Yuan bring it to you. From now on, I will take care of your meals. Food from outside is not healthy." Lin Yuan's mother might be harsh with him, but she was incredibly kind to everyone else. Shen Yuxi had not expected Annie to take over her breakfast. She pressed her lips together, feeling unexpectedly moved. Truthfully, after working for so long, her own mother had never asked whether she was eating well. The only thing they cared about was when the Shen family line would continue. Moved as she was, Shen Yuxi did not intend to let Lin Yuan's mother make her breakfast every day. It would be far too much trouble. How could she possibly accept that? "No need, Annie. Our company has a cafeteria, and the food is excellent." Reading Shen Yuxi's reply, Lin Yuan felt like he was watching someone sing her own praises. Though the company's food really was good, Lin Yuan could not help but want to laugh. But laugh as he might, he promptly played along. "That is right, Mom. Our boss is really generous. The cafeteria is genuinely great. Every day there are 4 dishes and 1 soup, and even chicken legs." Lin Yuan was chatting on his phone when he heard his colleague Xiao Wang. "I just saw the devil himself. That bastard was scowling first thing in the morning, as if someone owed him money. He will definitely come looking for trouble soon." The man they called the devil was Don Wanfeng. He was the design department supervisor. He had a big belly and an even bigger temper. At the mention of the devil, everyone's faces fell. Before he even appeared, they had already begun to sigh. They heard that on the old neighborhood project, he was not getting his usual cut this time. The materials had not been selected as he wanted, so he could not collect a kickback. Don Wanfeng's corruption was an open secret. He always liked to secretly switched the materials and completed designs. But this old neighborhood renovation was a company project personally chosen by Shen Yuxi, a flagship project. They planned to use it for publicity. If it went badly, they would have a hard time answering to President Shen. So they firmly refused to change the materials. Wanfeng could not make money from it, so it was no wonder he was unhappy. As they continued discussing it, heavy footsteps sounded in the hallway. Yuan, come here. When they heard the devil call for Yuan, every eye turned toward him. It seemed Yuan was today's unlucky victim. Wanfeng would surely vent his pent-up rage on him. Yuan had not expected him to call for a newcomer like him. Still, he was not afraid. It was not as if he had offended the man. He rose without a hint of panic and followed Wanfeng out. Wanfeng entered his office and gestured for Yuan to close the door. Only then did he gesture for him to sit. Yuan needed to hear no more. Yuan was already certain. That bastard was almost certainly after the old neighborhood's design plans. He just could not understand why Wanfeng was so bold. He even dared tamper with designs Shen Yuxi had approved. You made a name for yourself as soon as you joined the company. Your future is limitless. Then Wanfeng's tone shifted, turning serious. But once you enter the working world, it is a whole different game. At school, as long as you study well, even if you do not listen to your teachers, you can still get into a prestigious university. But the real world is different. You need timing, opportunity, and the right connections. Seeing Yuan remain silent, Wanfeng continued. As for me, I think very highly of you. As long as you work hard, I cannot promise anything else. But you will definitely be on the list for permanent positions this time. Not only that, your compensation can be raised as well. Yuan merely looked at him with a smile. I just wonder what exactly you mean by work hard. Wanfeng leaned forward. It is simple. I need you to revise your design. The design itself does not need changing. Just change the materials, then explain it to President Shen. That is not difficult, is it? Yuan studied the old fox. He wanted Yuan to change the specified materials, so that, naturally, he could use materials from Wanfeng's suppliers. Instead, what a clever scheme. Back in Yuan's office, everyone was heatedly discussing the devil dragging Lin away. Wanfeng had been a supervisor for 5 years, yet he had bought an apartment in Ziwan with a monthly salary of 18,000 yuan. Could he earn enough in 5 years to buy an apartment? Regarding Wanfeng's corruption, everyone was as disgusted as if they had swallowed a fly. But they were only low-level employees, angry but afraid to speak out. Though they could not say it to his face, they could at least vent behind his back. Just as the discussion grew heated, there came a knock at the door. Then Qingqing entered, dressed in a white skirt suit. She carried a black umbrella in her hand. Excuse me, is Yuan here? Everyone in the company knew who Qingqing was. Usually, Qingqing only passed through their department, but today she had actually come looking for someone. What was going on? The supervisor had summoned Yuan early this morning, and now President Shen wanted him to. Assistant C, Supervisor Dong called Yuan away. Qingqing thanked them and headed for Wanfeng's office. Wanfeng's office was at the far end of the design department. As Qingqing reached the door, she faintly heard voices inside. Supervisor Dong, you are putting me in a difficult position. The materials I chose offer the best value for money. Besides, this is a rundown neighborhood of tiny apartments. If the residents could afford premium materials, they would not be living here. Listen to yourself. They just cannot afford to buy homes. That does not mean they cannot afford renovations. Wanfeng's impatient tone made clear he disagreed with Yuan. Yuan gave a soft laugh. You are talking about upscale neighborhoods. There are homes that cost 20,000 yuan per square meter too. Are there not? You probably have not visited that neighborhood. The people living there are mostly retired seniors, with a small number of young people working hard to get ahead. First, older people would never spend that much on renovations. As for young people striving to get ahead, once they save enough money, they will certainly move away. Those apartments are too small. They are simply not suitable for starting a family. That means for them, affordable and practical is best. To be honest, Wanfeng had made designers change materials plenty of times, but most designers did not need this much convincing. Yuan had patiently explained it to him for ages. Even a blockhead would have understood by now. He was doing it on purpose. If Wanfeng had not urgently needed money lately, he would not have made Yuan change the materials. After all, Shen Yuxi had approved this design, but his mother-in-law had been in a car accident a few days ago. The hospital bills alone had already cost over 100,000 yuan, and this old neighborhood renovation was a major project. The kickbacks from designing to buildings could bring him over 100,000 yuan. So, no matter what happened today. He had to make Lin Yuan change the materials. Lin Yuan was merely relying on the fact that his design was a little impressive. A newcomer who had only been here a month actually dared to challenge him. Dong Wanfeng said sarcastically, I did not expect designer Lin to have such backbone. Qingqing had only come to return the umbrella, but instead she overheard this conversation. She had wanted to listen longer, but eavesdropping was not right. She quickly knocked on the door. At the knock, Supervisor Dong turned toward the glass door, his face dark. When he saw it was President Shen's assistant, he hurriedly rose to his feet, all warmth and enthusiasm. Assistant C, what brings you here? His expression was like a neglected courtier finally granted an audience with the king. Qingqing smiled politely, then looked toward Lin Yuan, still seated in his chair, her gaze settling on him. President Shen asked me to give you this umbrella. Then she added, President Shen wants you to see her when you are finished here. She has something to discuss with you. Dong Wanfeng was stunned. He adjusted his glasses, staring at Qingqing in disbelief. Then at Lin Yuan. What was this about? Why would President Shen send him an umbrella and tell him to come to her office after he was done? Whenever President Shen summoned someone, it was always, get to my office immediately. Yet she was letting this kid finish first. After 5 years at the company, this was the first time he had seen anyone receive such treatment. Lin Yuan reached out and took the umbrella. He smiled politely. After saying that, Qingqing gave Dong Wanfeng one more look before turning and leaving. Staring at the umbrella in Lin Yuan's hand, Dong Wanfeng sank into thought. He could understand delivering documents or bonuses, but returning an umbrella carried deeper meaning. A boss gave an employee an umbrella, especially after he had pressured him to change the materials. Dong Wanfeng suddenly felt afraid. He had barely said it, and President Shen sent this kid an umbrella. Was it meant as a sign of protection? If that was really the case, then he was finished. The more Dong Wanfeng thought about it, the more frightened he became. In the dead of winter, his head broke out in a cold sweat. Rather than looking at Dong Wanfeng's fat face, Lin Yuan was more curious about what his big sister had wanted to see him about. Could it be about mom secretly adding her as a friend? Then he had better go see her at once. With that thought, Lin Yuan hurriedly stood. If there is nothing else, I will be going. Lin Yuan said goodbye to Dong Wanfeng and headed straight to Shen Yuxi's office. Today, Shen Yuxi wore a coffee brown blazer with a matching brown silk dress beneath it and coffee brown high heels. She looked instantly elegant. Her glossy chestnut hair was loosely pinned up with a golden hair clip, softening the blazer's sharp, capable edge. She looked poised, yet faintly languid, composed, and effortlessly refined. When Qingqing entered the office, Shen Yuxi was sitting in her chair, quietly watching the exchanges in Lin Yuan's family group chat. No one would believe that the aloof female chief executive was secretly lurking in an employee's family group chat. President Shen, when I went to return Lin Yuan's umbrella, I happened to hear Dong Wanfeng asking Lin Yuan to change the materials. Shen Yuxi paused at that. The delight in her eyes vanished in an instant. Change the materials. Yes, that is exactly it. Shen Yuxi slowly leaned back in her chair. Her beautiful eyes darkened. An amused note entered her voice. So that happened. Clearly, she did not know that Dong Wanfeng had been switching materials to pocket kickbacks. But judging by her expression, she was not surprised. A company has over 1,000 employees. 50% just coast along for a paycheck. Another 30% only pretend to work hard. 15% genuinely work hard. The remaining 5% are people like Dong Wanfeng. They take bribes and shake people down, using their positions to make money. Shen Yuxi understood that well. It was a common problem in every company. More than Dong Wanfeng's behavior, Shen Yuxi cared more about Lin Yuan. This gifted intern was also her fake boyfriend. What choice would he make? What did he say? Shen Yuxi put down her phone, looking intensely interested. He told Lin Yuan to change the materials. I think he has quite a few long-term material suppliers behind him. Someone like him should be fired. He is a parasite feeding off the company. A rotten apple. Shen Yuxi cut her off. I meant Lin Yuan. Qingqing froze. The words caught in her throat. Her open mouth obediently closed. Only her wide eyes remained, staring at Shen Yuxi in disbelief. At a time like this, President Shen, should you not be gathering evidence against Dong Wanfeng? Instead of asking what Dong Wanfeng said, you are asking about Lin Yuan. Is that not the wrong focus? Despite her doubts, she did not dare say more. Qingqing blinked. Lin Yuan had not answered yet. I was discovered, so I came back to the office, fearing Shen Yuxi would blame her for not hearing it all. She guiltily added, but it looked like Lin Yuan was unwilling. At that, Shen Yuxi seemed to have heard the answer she wanted. A hint of a smile entered her eyes. This was the third time he had surprised her. The first was the design draft. Even the company's top designers could not meet her standards. Lin Yuan not only met them, he exceeded them. The second time, he he turned down the house she offered him. Very few people could do that, but he did. The third time was now. A freshly graduated intern actually dared defy his superior. Was he really not afraid of being fired? Dong Wanfeng's corruption was exactly as she expected, but Lin Yuan's behavior was beyond her expectations. It seemed her fake boyfriend was not only smart, but had decent character too. A sudden knock interrupted Shen Yuxi's thoughts. Lin Yuan walked in, holding two cartons of coffee. Qingqing glanced at Shen Yuxi, then turned and left. President Shen, you wanted to see me. Shen Yuxi had already devised a plan to deal with her mother's pressure to marry. That was why she had called Lin Yuan in today. Shen Yuxi's mother was no ordinary mother. The two had battled for years. There was no tactic they had not tried. She looked at Lin Yuan, leaning forward, her fair, beautiful fingers interlaced. Before her on the desk, her beautiful eyes were filled with seriousness. Sit down. Seeing how serious she looked, Lin Yuan could not help feeling nervous. My mother is difficult to deal with. She may show up unexpectedly to check on us. So, I need some of your personal belongings. I will give you some money. Buy some new everyday items. Then bring them here when you have time. Her tone still held no emotion, as if assigning a task. Yet a loose strand of hair fell across her forehead, making her seem much gentler. The lovely morning light spilled across her fair, delicate face. From this angle, Lin Yuan could clearly see his reflection in her lovely eyes. He could not deny it. Whenever this woman looked at him so intently, Lin Yuan's heart involuntarily tightened. Afterward, Lin Yuan smiled and headed out. In the office, everyone wondered whether Lin Yuan had survived. First Dong Wanfeng, then President Shen. Neither was someone to mess with. The chatter had barely died down when Lin Yuan walked in, coffee in his left hand, an umbrella in his right. Calm and unhurried. Lin, what did President Shen want with you? An umbrella. What does that mean? He could not figure it out, but he knew that umbrella was not so simple. I lent President Shen this umbrella when it rained yesterday. She returned it today. At his explanation, Jiazu breathed a sigh of relief. That devil wanted you to change the materials. Only an idiot would change them. I will not change them, Lin Yuan said without hesitation. Jiazu had not expected the kid to have such backbone. That living demon did not give you trouble? Lin Yuan shook the coffee in his hand. Does it look like he gave me a hard time? Then he tossed a box to Jiazu. This is for you. I still prefer tea. Looking at the coffee in his hands, Jiazu froze. Damn it, that cheapskate took it from me and actually gave it to you? Life was just that absurd. Jiazu was completely bewildered. The whole office was bewildered. What the hell is going on? A 3-year veteran remarked. It was the first time he had ever gotten anything from Dong Wanfeng. What was happening today? It was so strange. It was unbelievable. He did not believe Dong Wanfeng would let Lin Yuan off so easily, or even give him coffee. There had to be more to it. Lin Yuan had not expected his co-workers to be this curious. He sighed, looking helplessly at everyone. Since you are all so curious, I will come clean. To tell you the truth, President Shen is actually my girlfriend. What? You actually dared to think that. You actually dare say it. Jiazu was the first to lose it. President Shen was like a goddess. At the company, apart from work, she had never spared any man a second glance. Yet a newcomer dared claim President Shen was his girlfriend. Not even a 5-year veteran would have that nerve. Do not let anyone else hear you say that. If it gets back to President Shen, watch her shut that mouth of yours for good. He was not joking. He meant every word. Who was President Shen? She was the ice queen from hell. She was that cold-hearted. If she learned Lin Yuan was joking about her behind her back, she might really shut his mouth for good. After they gossiped in the office for ages, it was suddenly 11:59. Just 1 minute until they could head to the cafeteria. When lunchtime arrived, the family group tagged Lin Yuan again. Lin Yuan's sister, Lin Kaki, posted a photo of her lunch, a serving of beef casserole, a chicken wing, and even a cup of yogurt beside it. Lin Yuan could sense his sister's smugness through the picture. He promptly replied, "Eating that much? Be careful, or you will get fat." You say that. Does my sister-in-law approve? Then she tagged Shen Yuxi. Lin Yuan went numb. How does everything end up involving Shen Yuxi? Before Shen Yuxi could even respond, his mother immediately chimed in. What are you and Xiaoxi having for lunch? Mom, I just got off work. We have not reached the cafeteria yet. Alright, send us a photo of what you'd have for lunch when you get there. She had to see whether her precious daughter-in-law was eating well. If she was not, she would have to cook for her. Lin Yuan wanted to slap himself. Why had he not said she was busy and skipping lunch? Now look what happened. He had to eat with Shen Yuxi. Was someone like her really the cafeteria type? With that thought, Lin Yuan messaged Shen Yuxi. President Shen, how about I treat you to lunch? Shen Yuxi had actually been secretly watching the chat. She had been waiting for Lin Yuan to contact her. When his message arrived, a smug smile appeared on her delicate face. Lin Yuan knew it could not be that simple. That little temptress was stirring up trouble again. President Shen, I am begging you. Looking at Lin Yuan's message, Shen Yuxi could not help imagining Lin Yuan sincerely apologizing before her. So, you think you are so capable? Come to my office. I will teach you a proper lesson. Meanwhile, See Qingqing, by then, had placed all the food on the coffee table in the office. Seeing Shen Yuxi looking at her phone, she cautiously spoke. President Shen, your meal is ready. Without looking up, Shen Yuxi replied, get another serving of rice. See Qingqing froze. She thought she had heard wrong. Since last night, President Shen had been far too unusual. Someone who normally ate half a serving wanted 2 servings today. Just then, Dong Wanfeng knocked on the door and came in. With her arms folded, Shen Yuxi glanced at Dong Wanfeng. Instead of harassing the designers in the design department, what are you doing here? The Ice Queen spoke, and Dong Wanfeng felt the temperature plunge by 10 degrees. He was cold and panicked, cold sweat breaking out on his palms and forehead. President Shen, I am sorry. My mother-in-law is seriously ill. I had no other choice. That is why I tried to swap the materials. I will never dare do it again. You say you will not do it again after you have already done it. You say you will not do it again. But instead of discussing material changes with the client, you went to the designer. Did you ever consider what would happen if the client replaced the entire design? Her voice seemed to carry countless blades, all flying straight at Dong Wanfeng. Dong Wanfeng was so terrified he could barely breathe. His legs began to tremble. President Shen, I am sorry. I will never dare do it again. I truly know I was wrong. Shen Yuxi smiled softly. Her lovely, commanding voice rang through the office. I never accept apologies. If you make a mistake, you pay the price. If I forgive 1 Dong Wanfeng today, there will be 10 more Dong Wanfengs tomorrow. Dong Wanfeng sucked in a sharp breath. His head was buzzing. He was finished. He had elderly parents and young children to support. Now his mother-in-law was in the hospital too. His child was about to start middle school. Everywhere he looked, there were expenses. He was the family's only breadwinner. If he lost his job, his whole family would be left starving. Shen Yuxi was about to say more when her phone began to vibrate. Normally, no matter what Shen Yuxi was doing, she would first deal with this rotten apple. But now that she was in Lin Yuan's family group, she suddenly felt their messages were important too. She picked up her phone and saw Lin Yuan's message. Her slender fingers danced across the screen. Do not call me President Shen from now on. It would be bad if you got used to it. Lin Yuan paused, then breathed a sigh of relief. Then from now on, just like them, I will call you Xiaoxi. Xiaoxi. It is time to eat. Shen Yuxi sat at the table, her beautiful almond-shaped eyes fixed intently on the phone screen. After a while, her rosy lips curled slightly, her expression a little unnatural. Between Xiaoxi and President Shen, the former was the formal way to address her, while the latter felt strange. The family group was full of elders, so naturally they should call her that. But she was for years older than Lin Yuan. Should he not be calling her sister instead? Lin Yuan immediately caught on. Then I will call you Sister Shi from now on. Dong Wanfeng was still standing before the desk, earnestly apologizing. Now he was like a criminal awaiting judgment. Was he to live or die? At least say something. Yet President Shen would not speak. Not only did she say nothing, she kept staring at her phone, as if nothing had happened. He watched Shen Yuxi, not daring to breathe. Shen Yuxi read Lin Yuan's message, a faint smile touching her lips. It was like a lily blooming, pure and lovely. Dong Wanfeng had never seen President Shen smile so purely. It was beautiful, all right, but right now, he could only think about his own dirty dealings. He was scared out of his wits. Shen Yuxi pushed off with her legs. Leaning back in her chair, she settled into a relaxed position and kept chatting with Lin Yuan. She completely ignored Dong Wanfeng, who did not dare breathe across from her. Sister Shi, what do you feel like eating? You can treat me. I will foot the bill. No need. Come eat in my office. Xiaoxi has already gone to get your meal. Big sister really was considerate. After replying to Shen Yuxi, Lin Yuan promptly left the office and headed for the elevator. As soon as he reached Shen Yuxi's office door, he heard her icy voice from inside. Pack your things and leave. Dong Wanfeng truly did not want to leave. This job, the benefits, and work environment were both quite good. If he left here, he would struggle to find a job this good again. President Shen Yuxi leaned back in her chair. She could not be bothered with him anymore. She dismissed him with a single icy sentence. Dong Wanfeng had wanted to plead some more, but recalling Shen Yuxi's cold and dangerous gaze, he did not dare open his mouth. He only sighed and silently walked out. The moment he stepped outside, he saw Lin Yuan standing at the door, watching his retreating back. Lin Yuan suddenly felt a little sorry for him, but there was no helping it. Wrong was wrong. No excuse justified his corruption. In Lin Yuan's eyes, there was no loss in seeing someone like him go. Still, Big Sister was ruthless and decisive from start to finish. This had taken barely 2 hours, and the man had already been fired. Lin Yuan drew a deep breath. It seemed that whenever possible, he should avoid provoking her. When Lin Yuan arrived, the sharpness in Shen Yuxi's eyes instantly vanished. It was replaced by a lovely glimmer, like scattered starlight. She pointed to the dishes laid out on the coffee table. The rice will be here shortly. Wait a moment. Lin Yuan nodded. Only then did he look toward the coffee table, and he was completely stunned. Vegetable salad, chilled cucumber, stir-fried greens, and sweet and sour lotus root. There were plenty of dishes, but not a shred of meat. How was he supposed to eat this? Seeing Lin Yuan hesitate, Shen Yuxi asked, "Not to your taste?" Not just not his taste. He did not even know where to begin. Right now, he only wanted to ask, "Big sister, when did you become a Buddhist? Do meals like this suit a woman worth tens of millions?" Lunch was great, but no need next time. Lin Yuan took a deep breath and sat down at the coffee table. Shen Yuxi was the one left stunned. Very good. Then why is there no need next time? As for what Lin Yuan had just said, she was completely baffled. Just as she was puzzling over it, there was a knock at the door. Qingqing had returned with the rice. She walked in and instinctively glanced at the coffee table. In an instant, her eyes went as wide as saucers. Shen Yuxi had not expected that expression from Qingqing. She did not know whether to laugh or cry. Her brow lifted slightly, and she drawled, "What is it?" Qingqing was dumbfounded. She had always thought that a woman like President Shen, when choosing a boyfriend, would at least choose a domineering billionaire CEO. Only a man like that could match President Shen's ice-cold soul. Never had she imagined it would be this new intern. Lin Yuan had always seemed cheerful and modest to her, cracking jokes now and then. That was nothing like a powerful chief executive. Was this President Shen's type? It was simply unbelievable. Seeing her stand there frozen, Shen Yuxi's cool voice took on a teasing edge. "Why are you standing there, waiting for me to invite you to lunch?" Qingqing was always so excitable, nothing like a proper assistant. At once, Qingqing waved her hands. "Please enjoy your meal, President Shen. I will leave now." With that, she hurried out. She had no desire to eat with President Shen. President Shen was watching her figure these days, eating like a rabbit. Qingqing, on the other hand, was a serious foodie. She was not about to eat like a rabbit. When she got the food earlier, she had seen that the cafeteria had pork knuckle today. Once Qingqing left, in the spacious office, only Lin Yuan and Shen Yuxi remained. Shen Yuxi sat on the sofa beside Lin Yuan, crossing her lovely legs. She picked up the chopsticks Qingqing had set out. Her pale, slender fingers moved, gently picking up a cherry tomato and placing it in her mouth. Her rosy lips began to move. Watching the beauty eat, Lin Yuan swallowed, not because the food tempted him, but because he honestly did not know what to eat first. How the hell was he supposed to eat this? Lin Yuan was curious. "Sister Shi, is this what you usually eat? I have not had time to exercise lately. To maintain my figure, I need to eat light." After Shen Yuxi said that, she picked up another cherry tomato. Lin Yuan was shocked. She was already this thin and still dieting. Regardless of Lin Yuan's surprise, Shen Yuxi truly had an incredible figure. She was 5'7", with a long neck and elegant, level shoulders. There was not an ounce of excess flesh on her arms. Her slim waist could be encircled with one hand. Her beautiful legs were long and straight. Her skin was exceptional too, smooth and fair. So delicate it seemed dewy to the touch. And someone like her wanted to lose weight. Lin Yuan's exaggeratedly stunned expression made Shen Yuxi laugh. A glimmer of amusement shone in her eyes. "Complimenting me will not get you a raise," she had to admit. The sweet younger guy was rather good at compliments. Clearly, he thought very highly of her. "Your health comes first. A good figure is only a bonus." Then he glanced again at the sea of greens on the table. He was definitely adding chicken legs today. Even if she would not eat it, he certainly would. Lin Yuan promptly stood up and ran out of the executive office. He was going to buy chicken legs. Lunch without me? That was just ridiculous. Watching Lin Yuan's retreating back, a trace of helplessness filled Shen Yuxi's bright eyes. They were in the middle of lunch. Where was he running off to? Once outside the executive office, Lin Yuan headed for the first floor cafeteria. He got to chicken legs, then found they even had pork knuckle. Unable to resist, he got a serving of that too. Chicken legs and pork knuckle. Perfect. Delighted, he remembered Shen Yuxi was dieting and grabbed a bottle of yogurt for her. Only then did he pick up his food and rush back to the executive office. After Lin Yuan left, Shen Yuxi simply put down her chopsticks. Instead, she returned to her desk and began reading documents. Before she had turned to pages, she heard Lin Yuan's voice. "Sister Shi, try this. Our cafeteria's chicken legs are really good." It was winter, and the temperature was low. Lin Yuan was afraid the meat would get cold, so he hurried back. As he came through the door, the buzz-cut young man looked slightly out of breath, and his broad forehead was beaded with fine sweat. He carried two disposable lunchboxes, smiling brightly at her. When the clean-cut young man looked at her, his whole face was lit with a smile. Shen Yuxi paused, so he had rushed off, just to buy her a chicken leg. The sweet younger guy seemed surprisingly considerate. "You were only buying food. Why rush so much?" Her face remained expressionless, but her pale hand drew a tissue from the box and offered it to him. Along with the tissue came Shen Yuxi's distinctive scent. Studies show, smelling a scent you like makes you relax without realizing it, and lifts your mood. Lin Yuan thought that study was right. This was the second time he had smelled Shen Yuxi's scent. It was not perfume, but a faint floral fragrance, like lilies mingled with jasmine. There, then gone. Lin Yuan really liked it. He casually took the tissue. As their fingertips touched, he could clearly feel how soft hers were. They sat back down on the sofa. Lin Yuan picked up his chopsticks and placed a chicken leg in Shen Yuxi's bowl. These chicken legs are a cafeteria must-have, because he had hurried. The chicken leg was still steaming. Lin Yuan was pleased with that. Then he put the other one in his own bowl, having sorted out the chicken legs. Lin Yuan set the yogurt before Shen Yuxi. Yogurt is best for dieting. It aids digestion. Looking at the yogurt before her and the chicken leg in her bowl, a strange feeling began spreading through her heart. His concern was genuine, not ingratiating, not calculated flattery, like the elders in his family chat. It was natural, sincere, and easygoing, making her feel at ease. Who would have thought this carefree boy had such a thoughtful side? So she could eat a hot chicken leg. He had run until he was sweating. Knowing she was dieting, he had specially brought her yogurt too. Looking at him, Yuxi inexplicably felt something sweet stir inside her. He was at such a wonderful age, with flawless skin, good looks, and real ability. Someone like him should have been popular. So, why did he not have a girlfriend? Shen Yuxi's lovely eyes shifted. She looked at Lin Yuan curiously. Why are you not dating anyone? Lin Yuan swallowed his mouth full of food. That was a pointed question. Why aren't you dating anyone? Shen Yuxi had not expected Lin Yuan to turn the question back on her. She said coolly, dating means marriage. Marriage is practically a gamble. But experience proves 9 times out of 10, you lose. I don't like gambling. Lin Yuan answered without hesitation. I haven't thought about it as deeply as you have. It is just that nobody wants to date me. With that, he put another piece of pork knuckle into his mouth. He had only just graduated and was focused entirely on the international competition. There was never enough time as it was. Why the hell would he go looking for a girlfriend? His answer was too honest and blunt. So blunt that Shen Yuxi could not hold it in. She burst out laughing. Her brows relaxed, and starlight danced in her enchanting eyes. A ripple of laughter spread across her rosy lips. Lin Yuan felt as if the whole office had grown warmer. She was genuinely laughing with delight. But could you tell me what is so funny? You are laughing so sincerely that it is making me very embarrassed. You know? Seeing Lin Yuan's wounded little look, Shen Yuxi gave him a radiant smile. I just did not expect the reason to be so simple. How could such an outstanding young man have no one interested in him? I only graduated recently. I am in the prime of my youth. What is my mother so anxious about? Just because I am not getting married. She acts as if I have disgraced 8 generations of ancestors. At the mention of his mother, Shen Yuxi's expression shifted. Right. We have not taken the photo yet. She quickly picked up her phone. How could she forget something so important? She swiftly opened the family group chat, took a photo, and sent it to the group. Su Quafen had been waiting for Shen Yuxi's message for over half an hour. The moment her phone chimed, she forgot all about washing the dishes and immediately pulled off her gloves to grab it. Sure enough, her future daughter-in-law had messaged. Excitedly, she opened the photo. But the longer she looked, the more wrong it seemed. Those 2 meals were far too far apart. They were supposed to be in the honeymoon phase. Couples at that stage practically want to share one meal. Yet in this photo, one meal was in the upper left corner, and the other was in the upper right. That meant they were sitting far apart. When Lin Yuan saw Shen Yuxi send the photo, he put down his chopsticks too. He picked up his phone, ready to wait for his mother's reply. Normally, whenever Shen Yuxi said anything, within 3 seconds, his mother would definitely reply. But today, there was no response even after half a minute. His instincts told him something had gone wrong. He quickly opened the photo Shen Yuxi had sent. One look, and he spotted the problem. His mother might seem carefree normally, but whenever it involved his marriage, she noticed details sharp as a needle. There was a problem with this photo. Lin Yuan briefly explained it to Shen Yuxi. He even figured out most of what his mother must be feeling. After hearing Lin Yuan's explanation, Shen Yuxi also realized something was off. So, what do we do now? Unless they sent an intimate photo of them together, there was no way to fix it. But he could hardly ask that of her. Shen Yuxi looked at Lin Yuan. He was holding his phone, trying to think of a solution. How about sending a photo of us holding hands? That should solve the problem, right? Let's take a hand-holding photo. Without hesitation, she sat down beside Lin Yuan. Her lovely scent washed over him, followed by Shen Yuxi's rich, alluring voice. Give me your hand. Lin Yuan froze. He blinked instinctively, although he had just considered holding President Shen's hand. Now that it was actually happening, he was still a little nervous. He blinked again and obediently held out his hand. The next second, Shen Yuxi's cool arm looped around his. Her long, pale hand glided up along his forearm, until it finally settled over his palm. Then their fingers gently interlaced. Sister Shi's palm was slightly cool, and the skin on the back of her hand was tender and soft. Holding a hand like that, Lin Yuan's heartbeat quickened without his control. Other than holding his little sister's hand as a child, he had never held another woman's hand. Shen Yuxi might have seemed bold, but inwardly she was panicking. Even her voice carried a hint of nerves. This was the first time she had ever held a man's hand, especially when she gave his hand a slight squeeze. The solid sense of safety came with a secret thrill. Lin Yuan raised his phone and decisively pressed the shutter. The whole thing happened in one fluid motion. In the photo, the man's hand completely enclosed the woman's long, pale hand. It looked intensely protective. With their lunch in the background, the image felt even warmer. Lin Yuan was very pleased with the photo. He held the phone out to Shen Yuxi. My photography skills are pretty good, aren't they? Shen Yuxi's face turned red. She looked at Lin Yuan, feigning composure. Could you let go before we talk? Are you addicted to holding hands? Why have you not let go yet? I froze. I instinctively looked down at our hands. Oh, we still haven't let go. Sister Shi, let me explain. His phone vibrated. I hurriedly released her hand. See, I know my mother best. Su Qifen had indeed replied. You brat. Do not just focus on feeding yourself. Take care of Xiaoxi. Seeing Su Qifen's message, they both felt much more at ease, perhaps because their fingers had just been entwined. A faint awkwardness lingered in the air. Neither said anything more. They both picked up their chopsticks and resumed eating. Just as they were nearly finished, Shen Yuxi's phone rang. The caller ID read, Mom. The instant she answered, I clearly saw it in her beautiful eyes. A flicker of helplessness. I said nothing and kept eating. Your father said, if you plan to live like this for the rest of your life, you should tell us the truth as soon as possible. Then we can adopt two children for you, so they can care for you when you are old. That way, at least, the Shen family fortune will have someone to inherit it. Even if you never marry, we will make sure you have both a son and a daughter. The woman on the other end was middle-aged. Her manner was pleasant, and her voice was gentle, but her words were harsh to hear. I could not help thinking, Sister Shi's mother was even more ruthless than mine. No boyfriend. She would just adopt children for her. That was terrifying indeed. Shen Yuxi seemed to have grown accustomed to this kind of pressure to marry. Her expression did not change. She merely said, if you want to adopt, I have no objection. I will tell my boyfriend later that they are my father's illegitimate children. Rumors can be vicious, so my father asked me to raise them for him. The Shen family is wealthy and powerful anyway. It would not be surprising if we had illegitimate children. She said it as casually as if discussing the weather. I nearly spat out my food. The woman on the other end did not seem surprised by that tone. This argument had clearly been going on for a long time. Still, she was surprised. You have a boyfriend? Shen Yuxi glanced at Lin Yuan. Without expression, she said, I do. The woman on the other end was skeptical. Do not tell me you are trying to fool us again, putting on some act with a fake account to chat with us? Let me tell you, the truth always comes out. They say experience beats youth. Is that really true? Come home and see for yourself. I am busy at work. That's all, Shen Yuxi said, decisively hung up. From that phone call alone, I could tell her mother would be hard to deal with. I cautiously asked, Sister Shi, was that your mom? Shen Yuxi nodded. She was clearly still upset about the call. You heard everything. Why even ask? She rose and poured herself a glass of water, then walked to the window. That is why I asked you to bring your clothes here. And not just bring clothes. We need to create the illusion that we live together. I swallowed hard. If she really comes, do we actually have to live together? Shen Yuxi folded her arms. Her eyes were full of certainty. Exactly. Ever since I said we would live together in the family group chat, I had regretted it bitterly. I never expected Sister Shi to pull the same stunt. I could not stop my mind from imagining what living with Sister Shi would be like. Sister Shi in a silk nightgown, giving me a massage. With that captivating, mature voice of hers. Realizing my thoughts had gone off track, I quickly snapped back to reality. Qingqing had just returned from lunch. She had meant to check whether President Shen had finished eating, so she could clear the dishes. But as soon as she reached the door, she heard President Shen say, I will send you the address. Remember to come tonight. See you after work. Qingqing's face turned visibly red. Oh my god. Things are moving way too fast. It has only been one day, and they are already meeting tonight. In another couple of days, would President Shen be taking maternity leave? Still lost in thought, she saw me walk out of the office. Blushing, Qingqing forced out an awkward smile. Hello, Designer Lin. He was President Shen's boyfriend now. What if he thought her attitude was poor, and President Shen replaced her? She would have no one to turn to. Looking at her, I did not know whether to laugh or cry. But if I explained, there was not much to explain. Things like this only look worse the more you explain. Back in the design department, it was practically empty. There was hardly anyone around. I sat down and logged onto the International Design website. After logging in, I opened the registration page. It read, Congratulations. Your registration was successful. The competition begins on December 18th. Looks like my registration went through. There were still 2 weeks until the 18th. As I exited the page, I suddenly noticed I had over 90 notifications today. When I opened them, I found someone had left a comment beneath the design I posted recently to provoke me. The provocateur was named Liaoyuan Muge. He was a designer with quite a following, a minor internet celebrity. Liaoyuan Muge. Frankly, this work is complete garbage in my eyes. It has no distinguishing features, and it does not embody minimalist style at all. This design is downright tacky. Below it was a minimalist design in the same category as mine. Then came countless comments. Little Qingqing. I still think Master Yuan's design is better. It suits market demand better. Designing is harder than climbing to heaven. Muge's design looks like the work of a true master. Compared to it, Master Yuan's design does not seem very distinctive. Don't speak. Is Muge trying to ride Master Yuan's coattails? What is this nonsense? Basement dweller. That's bullshit. Have you seen how many followers Muge has? As for chasing clout, we Muge fans strongly disagree. I did know of designer Liaoyuan Muge. I had heard of him before. He had an established following. Over 70,000 followers. Do not underestimate that number. On this website, tens of thousands of followers is no small amount. Actually, I had sketched that design on a whim. It was mainly meant to meet most clients' desire for minimalism. That was why I made it. These days, most homeowners choose minimalist styles. My design was primarily made to maximize space. While staying minimalist, it could free up several square meters of space. In a city like Shanghai, where space is precious, that design could not be more suitable. Quite a few commenters preferred my design, but quite a few also believed Liaoyuan Muge's design was what truly took minimalism to the extreme. I was not very interested in the comments. It was simply a matter of different styles. But I had major issues with Liaoyuan Muge's design. The title clearly claimed it was minimalist, yet his design was retro, with nothing to do with minimalism, especially the kitchen doorway. It used a semicircular brick wall with brushed cement walls and cement flooring too. Pile up some torches, sit on the floor, and you could roast a pheasant. I could not help commenting, man. Setting aside whether you missed the point, have you considered what the people living there would think? Are they supposed to devolve into monkeys? I really cannot agree. You call this a stroke of genius? More like the work of an ordinary man. Design is not just about beauty. More importantly, it must consider the residents' convenience. You have to duck every time you pass through that round doorway. Are you sure that would not feel miserable? Complaints aside, I decided to draw another design myself. To make up for the shortcomings of the last one, I closed the webpage, picked a pencil from my desk, and prepared to sketch something. By then, those who had gone for lunch had returned. Some chatted quietly. Some scrolled through their phones. Everyone was doing something different. When Jiazu turned around and saw Lin Yuan holding a pencil, bent over his desk, looking utterly focused, he could not help but ask, "Little Lin, what are you doing?" Technology is advanced these days. There are plenty of design programs. They are much more convenient than drawing by hand. Everything comes out perfectly straight. Most designers work directly on computers. I still prefer drawing it on paper first, then uploading it once I am satisfied. Lin Yuan still preferred hand drawing, like drafting a rough version. It is like finishing a rough draft first, then filling in the answers on an exam. I just felt like doodling. As I spoke, my hand never stopped moving. Hearing that I was actually drawing by hand, Jiazu was stunned. Seriously, you draw by hand? With software, something like that takes 3 minutes. By hand, it takes an hour, and you still have to make revisions. It does not even look as good as a computer rendering. When they heard I still drew by hand, it was not just Jiazu. Several people who had come in together were shocked too. No way. Brother Yuan, you draw designs by hand? Xiao Wang adjusted his glasses as he walked over to me. He mainly wanted to see Lin Yuan's drawing. After all, with one design upon joining the company, I had outdone a senior designer's work. I was the only one who had done that. He sincerely wanted to see more of my designs, so he could learn from them. Seeing Xiao Wang come over, I smiled. What? Stealing my tricks, then? I openly showed him the drawing. It was only a rough sketch. Other than the house layout, there was almost nothing to see. He frowned. I cannot make anything out from this. What? Isn't it obvious? I have not even started designing yet. How could you see anything? You cannot tell. This is a minimalist design. I teased. Xiao Wang shook his head and seriously said, "No." Hearing them talk, Jiazu got curious too. He walked over, wanting to see the minimalism Xiao Wang had missed. After one glance, he rolled his eyes at me. Enough. You are always picking on Xiao Wang. This is only a layout. How could anyone tell the style? I smiled. By the way, Brother Jia, do you usually browse Kunun? Kunun was shorthand for an international website. Its English name translates to Kunun. Jiazu was an experienced designer. Of course, he followed Kunun. He grinned. What? Want me to follow you? Trying to trick me into becoming your fan? I joked. That is not a bad idea. Why not be my fan? It was only a joke. Even the top designers on NGÓN only had a little over 100,000 followers. Yet my account had existed for barely over a month and already had more than 70,000 followers. Clearly, many designers approved of my work. At the mention of NGÓN, Shaolin, who was scrolling on his phone, got excited too. He looked at everyone eagerly. Oh, speaking of NGÓN, two major influencers clashed last night. Lu Man and Yuan and Liaoyuan Muge clash. More precisely, Muge picked a fight with Master Yuan. I might usually be carefree, but at the mention of design, I immediately perked up. As I looked at Shaolin, my eyes practically lit up. What do you think of Muge's design? That design is absolutely incredible. Shaolin curled his lip. Muge's masterpiece seemed to reappear before his eyes. I am speechless. The faint spark in my eyes was snuffed out in an instant. Damn, Master Yuan replied. Looks like the masters are about to face off. Qingqing, seated in the back, joined the conversation too. He had been browsing the site too. He had not expected to see Master Yuan's reply to Muge. He became excited at once. After all, Liaoyuan Muge was one of Qingqing Company's star designers. His design fee was 1,000 yuan per square meter. 9 out of 10 clients specifically requested Wumu. The sales department had practically put him on a pedestal. Unfortunately, designer Wu had a bad temper. He loved insulting people, so he did not have many friends. The only person he could really talk to was probably Yuan, another senior designer. Muge is seriously impressive. Muge is practically a role model. I wish I could become like Muge someday. Everyone chimed in, expressing their admiration for Liaoyuan Muge. It was not necessarily genuine admiration. He was a senior designer, after all, and clients loved his designs. There had to be a reason for it. If they said they disliked his work, would that not prove they knew nothing about design? They would make fools of themselves to keep others from thinking they were clueless. They had to claim they liked it, even if they did not. Like an answer given by a teacher. How could it possibly be wrong? Clearly, Wumu held the status of a teacher in everyone's minds. Looking at all those agreeing faces, I widened my eyes in surprise. My dear seniors, so you all like Liaoyuan Muge's kind of design? Brother Lin, I actually think Master Yuan's design is better too. Xiao Wang looked at me with complete sincerity. As they spoke, Wumu and Huan walked in from outside. The senior designers had separate offices with much nicer surroundings, but to get back there, they still had to pass through the common area. Seeing Liaoyuan Muge himself return, Jiazu quickly called out, Xiao Wang, when did you go blind? Muge is the idol of most people in this company. Jiazu was a seasoned veteran. He handled people smoothly, never offending anyone. He had deliberately said it for Wumu to hear, just to earn some goodwill. Instead, I simply shrugged. With open disdain, I said, all I can say is, old Xia's taste has strayed far from that of most designers. Is that minimalism? It is more like going back to basics. My words carried more than a hint of mockery. It was clearly Wumu's first time hearing someone at the company speak of his design that way, especially a newly hired intern. His face turned cold as he looked at me. What do you think is wrong with that design? Everyone heard the contempt in Wumu's voice. Jiazu panicked. Shaolin panicked too. Everyone panicked. Jiazu truly had not expected me to suddenly say something like that. Had he known, he never would have said it. He had only meant to earn some goodwill. But this was truly awkward. It made him look like he had deliberately started the conflict. Wumu truly was a talented designer, and he came from a wealthy family. His father was friends with Shen Yuxi's father. He joined Morningstar right after graduation. Anyone could see he was interested in President Shen. Rumor had it that President Shen, over this matter, had a huge fight with her family. For some unknown reason, she eventually gave in. The next day, Wumu started work without a hitch. But outside of work, the two barely even spoke to each other. Though President Shen showed no sign of returning his feelings, everyone knew Wumu was not someone to take lightly. He was someone even President Shen could not handle. Who would dare provoke him? Shaolin quickly cut in. Designer Wu, I happen to have a design I would like you to look over. Should I bring it to you now? Wumu had never regarded the junior designers in the common area as worth his notice. He did not answer Shaolin, nor did he spare him another glance. His sharp brows twitched, and his narrow phoenix eyes fixed directly on me. Well, Lin Yuan shrugged. Have you seen that design? Wumu's tone was flat. I have. The moment design came up, I immediately perked up, focused and serious. I looked solemnly at Wumu. First, the kitchen uses an arched doorway, with no consideration for the user experience. That is one problem. Second, a small bathroom should ideally separate wet and dry areas, but to save space, he did not separate them. Not only that, he added a wooden tub. It certainly looks beautiful, and makes the space feel larger visually, but it creates a problem. A large area remains damp for long periods. That breeds bacteria, while also easily damaging wooden materials. Wumu's brows furrowed. His expression darkened. He remembered this person. His name was Lin Yuan. He had merely produced the residential complex design that Shen Yuxi had praised a couple of times, and judging by his manner, he seemed to hold Wumu's design in contempt. It really takes all kinds. He actually dared question Wumu's work. How utterly ridiculous. If design is not for beauty, then what is it for? What bacteria issue? What material issue? Yuan is clearly the one with a problem in his head. I truly could not agree with Liaoyuan Muge's design at all. I felt I could list another or 5 suggestions. There was simply too much to say. My mouth rattled on like a long-barreled Gatling gun. Jiazu broke out in a cold sweat listening to me. This guy was seriously reckless. Could he not see the murderous look in Wumu's eyes? And he was still fucking talking? Seeing that I seemed ready to say more, Jiazu was sweating with panic. Hey, Little Lin, I recall you still have a design to finish. Get to it. Shaolin chimed into. Exactly. Muge is a master. He has thought far more than we have about this. I saw that design, and it is excellent. A true model to follow. You should focus on your own designs. Getting hired full-time should be your priority. If he kept talking, it would be the death of them. Wumu gave me a cold look. You are a fan of Lu Mam and Qingqing Yuan, aren't you? Your tongue is just as vicious. You sound exactly like the man himself. Nan Huan was just talking about that Lu Manman and saying he had no brains. She said the homes he designed were fit for monkeys. He was a well-known designer. After all, it was too much for him to speak that way. Not exactly. That work of his does have a few minor flaws. A lot of it feels half-hearted. Lin Yuan spoke honestly. When he first made that design, he had merely sketched it casually. He never revised it, nor did he study it further. Looking back now, that design truly had some minor issues. But compared with Liaoyuan Muge's design, those minor flaws barely counted as problems. That was how confident he was in his own work. Wumu had originally assumed he was a fan of Lu Mam and Qingqing Yuan. That would at least explain why he objected so strongly to his work. Hearing that answer, he could not help sneering. A mere intern criticizing to renowned designers. How arrogant. He wore a scornful expression and headed for his office. I stood there, utterly baffled. Designer Wu just seemed somehow off. Then I looked back at Jiazu and Shaolin, both frantic, and could not help asking, what is wrong with you two? I only discussed a design with a renowned designer. Look how terrified you are. Shaolin wiped the sweat from his neck. You are killing me, brother. Do you know who Wu Mu is? I froze. We only discussed a design. What does his identity have to do with it? Colleagues discussing someone else's work normally and exchanging opinions. There is nothing wrong with that. Jiazu sighed. The helpless look on his face was like a meme of someone forced to smile for customers. Wu Mu is Liaoyuan Muge. Who? In shock? My eyes widened slightly. I immediately looked toward Wu Mu's retreating back. I was completely numb. Truly numb. Now he understood why the whole office worshipped Liaoyuan Muge. Muge worked at the company all along. What kind of lousy co-workers were these? They should have told me sooner. Were they trying to get me killed? I complained. I never expected you to blurt it out so quickly. Jiazu was frustrated too. Complaints aside, to be honest, that design really was ugly. Even if I had known he was Muge, at most I would have praised him more tactfully. I could never genuinely praise it. Meanwhile, Shen Yuxi sat behind an enormous desk. Warm sunlight streamed through the huge floor-to-ceiling windows. She rested her cheek on one hand. Her gaze fell on the computer screen across from her. Shen Yuxi had studied design herself, and she had chosen this profession out of genuine interest, so she often browsed designs on NGÓN. When she saw a design she liked, she would slap the desk in admiration, marveling at it. But she swiftly scrolled past trashy work, not wanting to give it another look. She had only just opened the website when she saw Lu Manman, Qingqing Yuan's work, and Liaoyuan Muge had attacked it. The scene was spectacular. Fans on both sides were hurling abuse at each other. On NGÓN, a post getting hundreds of thousands of views was truly terrifying. The instant Shen Yuxi saw it, her whole mood soured. Her eyes brimmed with indescribable disgust and helplessness. Her instincts told her that damned Wumu was stirring up trouble again. Wumu always wore that smug, self-righteous face. The main reason Shen Yuxi felt nothing for him was his personality. He obsessed over appearances and was unbearably self-important. One sentence with him was enough to make anyone deeply uncomfortable. If Shen Yuxi's father had not promised that keeping Wu Mu on would bring her an investment of 30 million yuan, she would never have kept someone like him at the company. What Shen Yuxi hated most about him was this. He loved secretly checking Shen Yuxi's account activity. Whenever Shen Yuxi liked something, Wu Mu would rush to that creator's account and rant, snapping at them like a rabid dog. It made people grit their teeth with hatred, and this design was one Shen Yuxi had liked days ago. Truthfully, Shen Yuxi deeply admired this designer called Lu Manman Yuan. From the first design she saw, he had considered the man a rare genius. She had even secretly posed as the company's human resources recruiter and sent him to recruitment messages, but he never replied to either one. Shen Yuxi simply assumed great designers were proud. Only publicly traded companies could catch their eye. It was only natural he would look down on Morningstar. When this had happened before, those designers had not engaged Wumu. They simply ignored him, so each incident had eventually died down. But this time was different. Lu Manman Yuan struck back directly. Shen Yuxi found it strangely thrilling. Of course, this was a designer he liked. Not only was his work excellent, but he had backbone too. And for words, they were kindred spirits. A rabid dog like that deserved a harsh lesson. She decisively commented below, Wumu is trash. It was a devastating blow. But after posting it, she still was not satisfied. She sent Lu Manman Yuan a private message. A rabid dog like that needs to be put in his place. Do not show him any mercy. My advice is, even if you need a loan, take him down. Shen Yuxi had already made up his mind. Since Lu Manman already could not stand Wumu, and his fans were this fierce, why not hire a swarm of paid commenters to strike while the iron was hot? He would teach Wumu a lesson and make him understand that aside from his parents and Shen Yuxi's father, no one in this world would indulge him. Whichever designer Shen Yuxi liked, he would support that designer. Did Wumu really think he was some kind of god? Give him an inch, and he takes a mile. She had been considering this for quite some time. The last few times designers she liked were insulted, she had thought of this solution. Unfortunately, for some reason, those designers all chose to ignore Wumu. That infuriated Shen Yuxi. But this time was different. This time, Lu Manman Yuan had struck back without hesitation. So, Shen Yuxi knew there was hope. Even her mood brightened considerably. I was gloomily scrolling through posts when I saw a private message. Melancholy. A rabid dog like that needs to be put in his place. Do not show him any mercy. I suggest taking out a loan if that is what it takes to bring him down. My brow lifted. This person seemed to be the one who, some time ago, kept urging me to join Morningstar as a recruiter. But I had feared he was an online scammer, so I never replied. Instead, I quietly came to Morningstar to apply. I never expected him to message me again today. Even through the screen, I could sense an intense murderous aura. It was as though they shared a blood-deep grudge. Normally, I might have just read it and left it unanswered, but I was already feeling miserable. Seeing those words all of a sudden, I burst out laughing. This was clearly my problem. So, why did he seem angrier than I was? He was telling me to take out a loan to deal with the guy. Unless his hatred was completely maxed out. No one would say that. I promptly asked, brother, do you have a grudge against him? Shen Yuxi replied at once, yes. Looking at the message, I paused. I did not expect him to be so direct, without any pretense. Lu Manman Yuan. What do you mean? Melancholy. He is one of my pursuers. Whenever he sees an image I have liked, he goes and attacks it. You are not the first. He has made me afraid to like anything. It feels like I am hurting those designers. Melancholy, causing the work I like to be attacked, is infuriating, yet utterly helpless. Because of this, I am miserable every day. To win his sympathy, Shen Yuxi deliberately made herself sound pitiful. His username, Melancholy, actually had nothing to do with Wumu. It reflected his life more than anything. She only said that to make me hit back hard, to put Wumu in his place, and cure him of his behavior. Shen Yuxi had actually warned Wumu many times, but the more she warned him, the more viciously he attacked others, all to prove he was better than everyone else, that he was the true genius designer. He was impossible to reason with, a stubborn, foul-tempered bastard. This time, she finally had a chance to use someone else to teach him a lesson. She would never let that chance go. Melancholy, fine, he can bully me. But attacking other designers for no reason is simply inexcusable. Reading Melancholy's message, I suddenly felt so fucking wronged. If he genuinely disliked my work, I could accept that. But attacking me over a like, is that not completely ridiculous? Then he posts some trash image to discuss people. Is he using me as a target? People work hard on their designs, yet for his own shady purposes, he just spews mindless bullshit at them. What happened to respect? Lu Manman Yuan. Thank you for telling me the truth, miss. I closed the chat and glanced toward Wumu's office. You really never know what is inside someone's heart. So our star designer is a pervert who bullies young women. Just wait until I draw something to teach you a proper lesson. All my ideas came from before I crossed over, combined with my natural talent for design. That was the source of my confidence, and the reason I could crush the competition. As Shen Yuxi read Lin Yuan's reply, a brilliant and knowing smile appeared on her face. Just from Lu Manman Yuan being able to give him a hard time, she knew there would be a good show. And after what she had just said, she would not call it absolutely certain, but it was as good as settled. With that thought, Shen Yuxi picked up the desk phone and called Qingqing outside. Her instructions were simple. Less than 2 seconds later, Qingqing opened the CEO's office door and entered. She stood before the desk and gave a slight nod. President Shen, you called for me. Go find a group of paid commenters on Kunnan, under a post by Lu Mam and Yuan. I want them to tear Wu Mu apart. Shen Yuxi looked at Qingqing, her eyes bright with delight. Shen Yuxi was clearly in a fine mood. Qingqing's instincts told her that President Shen had finally found her chance. She asked instinctively, President Shen, is this about dealing with designer Wu? Others might not know, but Qingqing, as her assistant, knew everything perfectly well. He had no self-awareness whatsoever, and he was unbearably arrogant. President Shen disliked him, and Qingqing could not stand him either. He only got away with it because his father had some history with President Shen's father. That was the only reason President Shen had not fired him. He really thought he was somebody important. Shen Yuxi nodded, her voice hard. The paid commenters must outnumber his fans 5 to 1. Make sure he learns his lesson in one go. This time, she would settle it once and for all. She had never been some harmless little bunny. If anyone truly pushed her too far, no one would come out unscathed. For the entire afternoon, I worked on my design. Not until everyone began filing out did I realize work was over. I stood and stretched. My phone suddenly vibrated. When I opened it, there was an address from Shen Yuxi, along with a transfer of 10,000 yuan. I narrowed my eyes, confused. Why was she giving me money out of nowhere? Just as I wondered, a frosty message from Shen Yuxi arrived. Your mother gave me this money to welcome me as her daughter-in-law. I sent you the address. Hurry up. I knew there was no such thing as a free lunch. Still, I never expected Mom to give her a 10,000 yuan red envelope. She really must like Shen Yuxi. If she found out I had lied to her, she would be heartbroken. I did not dare think any further. I pursed my lips and left the office. I climbed onto my little bunny electric scooter and headed home. It was just after 6 when I got home. Winter nights came early. I still had to get over there early to deliver Shen Yuxi's clothes. I was deciding what to give her and what to keep when the sight inside the house stopped me cold. In our living room, which was just over 20 square meters, there were 2 enormous bags, packed in black plastic. They looked exactly like unwanted garbage. My parents were sitting on the couch, watching television. Feather Flies to the Sky was playing, a noisy family drama. It had their complete attention. They heard me coming but did not say a word. I looked at Mom in confusion. Why is this garbage in the middle of the living room? I moved to take the 2 bags out. Suquifen seemed baffled by my question. She turned and shot him an irritated look. What garbage? Those are your clothes. Were you not moving out to live with Xiaoxi? So I pack your things for you. And now I was wrong to do it. I really had said that. I just had not expected to face the consequences so quickly. It had only been 2 days. When did I have time to find a place? Seeing the edge of my pajamas sticking out of a black bag, I quietly let go. You really packed this carelessly. You should be grateful someone packed for you. Once you move in, you had better watch yourself. Keep things tidy and pull your weight. And girls need to be cherished. What kind of thinking is that? Can men not be cherished too? I pouted. Yes. You are right. As I spoke, I pulled out my phone and sent Housie a WeChat message. It seemed my only option was to stay at Housie's place for a while. Housie was a typical Northwesterner. After graduation, he chose to remain in Shanghai. He now livestreamed himself playing games and made 7 or 8,000 yuan a month. I typed out my message and hit send. Brother, I am in trouble. Can I stay at your place for a couple of days? Less than 3 seconds later, Housie replied, no problem. I am streaming tonight, so do not disturb me. The key is by the door. Let yourself in. That was what good brothers were for. Never mind whether they are successful or not. Whenever you need help, they agree without hesitation. I put my phone away and looked at the dining table. It was completely bare, without a bite to eat. Mom, you did not make dinner. Dinner? Why would I make dinner? Go eat with Xiaoxi. You are living together now. You should eat and drink together. If you eat by yourself, what is she supposed to do? Suquifen had been through it herself. Women understood women. That was absolutely true. When she had first married Lin Yuan's father, his eating habits used to drive her nearly crazy. Now she would not let her daughter-in-law suffer like that. They had to eat together. I sighed. She could not get through 3 sentences without mentioning Shen Yuxi. Was she finding me a wife? Or was she finding me a grandma instead? If you like her that much, trade places with me. Let her be your daughter, and I will be the CEO. I shrugged and picked up my bags from the floor, utterly helpless. Fine, I am going. If you are not leaving, Are you staying until New Year? Mom looked thoroughly impatient. On her face, I saw what looked like the joy of imminent freedom. After leaving home, I loaded the 2 large black plastic bags of luggage onto my electric scooter. Then I opened the navigation app and entered the address Shen Yuxi had sent. All the clothes were right here. She'd spent all day hounding me for clothes. Now they were all here, so she could pick to her heart's content. When the map appeared, Yuan could not hide his surprise. The homes there were something else. Even money could not guarantee you a place there, let alone buying one. Ordinary people could not even rent there. Most of the residents were celebrities, and even they were renting their homes. The properties simply were not for sale. In short, anyone who lived there was far from ordinary. I never imagined Big Sis lived there. The trip took over 30 minutes. On the way, my luggage accidentally fell to the ground. One plastic bag got snagged and tore. Looking at the name Mingsheng over the community gate, I sighed. I had finally arrived. Just as I was about to enter, I had barely taken 2 steps when the security guards stopped me. They were quite polite, though. They approached and formally saluted first. Just as I was thinking luxury communities really were different, the shorter guard said, "Excuse me, but there is no scrap to collect in this community. Try somewhere else." I was speechless. Come on, man. What makes you think I collect junk? These bags are full of clothes, not junk, I argued. The guard glanced into my bags and continued, "Sorry, but we do not have used clothes for you to collect here. Everyone living here is wealthy or influential." The guards basically remembered every resident's face, and with his little electric scooter and 2 huge bags of ragged clothes, the guard's first thought was that he collected used clothing. They probably figured the clothes in this community were expensive and could fetch a good price, so he came here to collect them. "Buddy, try collecting clothes somewhere else." The guard patted Yuan's shoulder. The sympathy in his eyes was impossible to miss. This young man was so handsome. Why was he doing this for a living? He could just start live streaming. Being an influencer would be better than this job. Maybe something was wrong with his head. I was completely baffled. Why was he so dead serious about treating me like a fellow junk collector? Just as I was about to explain, a brand new black Rolls-Royce Phantom interrupted their conversation. It was the first time this car had appeared in the community, though the guards had never seen it before. They exchanged a glance and chose to salute first. After all, everyone in this community was someone you did not want to mess with. The window rolled down from inside. Shen Yuxi's breathtaking face appeared in the car. She gave me an expressionless look. "Get in. I will take you home." Then she turned to the 2 guards and said,